Coming up, Bruce Snyder opens his second season in Sun Devil country at tradition-rich Camp Tonazona. You'll meet the impact players from this year's team. Plus, you'll get a glance at some talented newcomers. We're giving free haircuts.
Suffered a couple tries, I was all right.
And singing the blues.
To practice a day, only the strong will survive. If the coaches don't get you, the bars will eat you alive. We got the Tonazona blues, the Tonazona football blues.
You'll meet the strange and unusual. We're bound to make a big splash, so don't go scurrying off into the woods. You can dance and you can laugh. You can dance some more, but don't touch that dial. There could be an action-packed show at the end of this rainbow.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Camp Tonazona 93. I'm Tim Healy, along with second-year ASU head coach Bruce Snyder. And for the next half hour, we're going to be talking Sun Devil football as the Devils once again have come to their beautiful mountaintop retreat northeast of Payson, Arizona, to begin training for the upcoming 1993 season. This has got to be a great time of year, Bruce, for you and your coaching staff to get back in the trenches talking football once again.
Well, Tim, we feel a lot more comfortable this year, certainly, and Tonazona has great tradition. And we enjoy being back here. We have about 35 new players. This is their first time, so it's a little bit of a shock to them, but it's a terrific place.
You talked about the comfort zone. I think that's interesting because last year, not only for the players, but for you and many of your staff members, had to be kind of a feeling out process.
It was, one, getting to know the players better. That's one. But just figuring out where, which trails the bears use at night, so you can avoid the bears and the animals, just the stuff. It was a little bit different for us, but now certainly we feel very good about it. We like our teaching stations and the practice fields. It's a great place to teach football.
So many of your hopes for this season rest on the condition of the knees of two of your outstanding running backs, Mario Bates and George Montgomery. How have they looked so far in camp?
Oh, I think it's fine. We've taken on the approach, and we've actually taken their lead on this. They say, I don't have an injury. It's just denying or that they're over it, they've rehabilitated, they've been released by their physicians. So we're just saying that they're not injured, and they look very good to me right now.
Now, last year, I think yours was mainly, it turned out to be at least, a defensive-oriented football team. This year, it appears as though your offense may be asked to carry some of the load while a defense that has a lot of new parts comes together.
Well, if we're going to make the next step, I thought our team played very hard last year, and I was very proud of how tough we are and all of those things. But if we're going to win enough games to go to a bowl game, the offense needs to be more productive than a year ago. We need more points from our wide receivers, those kinds of things. And I think we have a chance this year to be a little more exciting in that area.
Now, to replace a lot of those who departed the program, Bruce Snyder and his staff had to scour not only the high school ranks, but the junior college ranks as well. And the result, a very talented crop of newcomers joining the Sun Devil football program in 1993. Let's meet some of them right now. Heading up that list are a couple of former teammates from San Bernardino Valley Junior College. Number 7, cornerback Craig Newsom, was considered one of the top JC defensive backs in the entire country a year ago. So far in camp, Newsom has lived up to his big play reputation.
I come smart at the, corner. I'm fast. Basically, I can just cover, man to man.
Number 6, wide receiver Johnny Thomas, known as JT, has blazing speed and great hands, and hopes to fill the shoes of big play wide receiver Eric Gulliford.
Eric Gulliford was a great receiver. Our receivers are great because they're in there taking the punishment. But I'm here, and I think that's a gift to me because I have that speed, and I can, really take it out and turn up the notch.
The Sun Devils also signed John Livingston, another junior college wide receiver from California. Livingston chose ASU over Nebraska and should add depth to the receiving corps. To fill some holes on the defensive line, ASU picked up a couple of more JC transfers. Number 13, Ken Talanoa, and number 84, Brian Proby. Both have already been inserted into the starting lineup.
In the spring, I felt pressure, but now that I'm here and now that I know pretty much what's going on in the system, I feel pretty comfortable and don't feel as much don't feel as much pressure.
I like to compete. I like the competition. I don't know. I just take it one day at a time. See whatever happens this day, and then tomorrow's a new day.
To add some depth at the quarterback position, the Sun Devils went to the high school ranks. For number 16, Jake Plummer, a parade All-American out of Boise, Idaho, and number 15, Jason Verdugo, from Canyon Del Oro High School in Tucson. One of these players will most likely redshirt, while the other will become Grady Benton's backup.
I really would say that he's probably my best friend on the team. You know, me and Jake are really tight. You know, once our meetings and everything's done, we do not talk football.
It'd be hard to sit out, but I mean, it'd be good for me too, because, you know, it'd be a way to get bigger and, you know, stronger and, you know, experience, you know, practice and learn all the offense.
Two other true freshmen could see playing time this fall. Wide receiver Jason McCorvey had surgery on his ankle this week, but could return to action in about 4 to 6 weeks, while Mike Martin, a running back out of Dallas, could be the sleeper of this year's freshman class. It is an unusually large group of junior college transfers who have joined the Sun Devil program this year. Bruce, you say it's one of your largest groups of JC recruits and maybe the largest in the country this year.
You know, and that's something we probably would not like to do every year. In fact, I know I wouldn't, but it was really a necessity this year. And the thing that I'm so pleased with is how good players they are. Traditionally, I think a junior college, if you recruit 3 junior college players, one won't be good enough. One will probably get homesick and leave, and the other one might, whatever happens to him. This group seems to be real solid, and most of them will end up either starting or certainly playing a great deal as this season unfolds. So I'm very pleased with that.
One thing you do not have in this camp that you did a year ago is a quarterback controversy, and that's got to be kind of a settling factor in this camp, don't you think?
You know, there certainly is an upside to it. I like having the quarterback position wired in and crystallized, and that's what it is. Grady Benton is our quarterback, and there's no question about that. The downside to our particular situation is that we're very inexperienced behind him. There just isn't. Right now, whoever plays next will be his first snap in Pac-10 football. So, but Grady's has a fine camp, and I think we're going to be okay there.
Okay, well, Bruce and I will be back a little later on in this show. Mike and Gil will take over in just a moment. And when we return to Camp Tonazona 93, backed by popular demand,
tender, marinated teriyaki chicken breast, fresh carrots and broccoli, steamed to perfection, and rice, all in a bowl. The new teriyaki bowls from Jack in the Box.
They better make me manager for this.
Say hi to Pam Del Duca.
Hi there.
As owner of more than a dozen one-of-a-kind fun places to shop like...
By George, Newswatch.
Oh, Eddie, her winning style is catching on.
They're all over the valley.
Now she's expanding her business all the way to...
Los Angeles, San Francisco.
So Pam depends on a one-of-a-kind airline to keep things moving.
Southwest. There's always a flight, and there's always a great fare. They're part of our team in California.
Pam Del Duca and Southwest Airlines. Just plain smart.
I can't imagine myself doing anything else but this.
This News Channel 3 sports special, Camp Tonazona 93, is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, offering frequent flights and low everyday fares, which is why flying Southwest Airlines is just plain smart. And by your Arizona Dodge dealers, the new Dodge. We're changing everything.
You're supposed to be in bed.
Oh, but I'm not tired.
With more branches and more ATM locations, Bank One is doing whatever it takes to help you spend less time banking and more time on the things that really matter.
Compare Camry and Accord with these cars, and you'll see there's no comparison. Nissan Altima and Nissan Maxima. The choice is yours at your Valley Nissan dealer. With Camry, a V6 is optional. With Accord, it's not even available. But with Maxima, a V6 is standard. And you can lease a Nissan Maxima for just $1,000 down and $299 a month. Nissan Maxima. The choice is yours.
After a long, hot practice, there's nothing like cooling off in the chilly spring water located right next to the practice facility. For some players, it's become an everyday occurrence, just another one of the benefits of training here in the high altitude at Camp Tonazona. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our show. I'm Mike Chamberlain, and it's kind of become a tradition up here at Camp Tonazona. I gather some of the players around me, and we sing the blues. It's called the Camp Tonazona Blues. And we're going to run it for you right now, but early on, we want to warn you, remember, we are not professionals, so give us a break. Here in Tonazona, ASU 93. Bugs the size of boulders, and they're staring right at me.
2 practices a day, only the strong will survive. If the coaches don't get you, the bugs will eat you alive.
I got the Tonazona Blues, the Tonazona Football Blues. We got the Tonazona Blues, the Tonazona Football Blues.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shantae's Inferno, Shantae Barber.
This ain't no Holiday Inn, you should see where we stay. Wall-to-wall bunk beds, I just want to play.
Oh, the weather's so nice. If you're a fan, 20 pounds of equipment, you gotta be kidding me, man.
We got the Tonazona Blues, the Tonazona Football Blues. We got the Tonazona Blues, the Tonazona Football Blues.
Center Toby Mills going to drive it on home. Toby.
4 years was enough. We've been through hell. Ain't gonna miss Tonazona that much I can tell.
We got the Tonazona Blues, the Tonazona Football Blues. We got the Tonazona Blues, the Tonazona Football Blues. Thanks to all the guys who are helping us with the Tonazona Blues 1993. Shantae Carver, Toby Mills, Lenny McGill, the Boyds, Gene and Larry. Gene was the guy that didn't do a lot of singing, but did a lot of this for us. Thanks, Gene, for helping us out. Now I'm the guy that gives you the plays of the day every weeknight at 10 o'clock. We've been in camp now for 10 days, and we put together the odds and the ends of Camp 93. Check out some of the characters that we ran into this year. Just like Bruce Snyder's philosophy, we're going to take it one at a time. The tallest, it's a tie between number 74, Juan Roque, and number 94, Brent Bernstein. Both stand at 6'8". The smallest, a three-way tie, number 34, Reggie Riley, number 7, Brad Belanger, and number 18, Matt Westmore. They're all listed at 5'8". The heaviest, Farrington Taco Tagai. He tips the scale at 350 pounds. Lightest, wide receiver John Livingston. He checked in at 165 pounds. The strongest, senior center Toby Mills. He bench pressed 455 pounds during a conditioning test. The fastest, number 24, Mario Bates, and number 6, J.T. Thomas. Both can run the 40 in 4.4. Toughest, Larry Boyd, number 8. His teammates call him Mr. Mean. Enough said. Underrated, that title goes to junior Kendall Ryan, who plays the gunner position. He's a diamond in the rough. The bounciest would be senior linebacker Jason Kyle, who shares the school record with a vertical leap of 39 inches. Funniest, assistant coach Dick Arbuckle, who once again donned the chicken mask to teach the players that covering a punt was like shoeing a chicken in the barnyard. The bonus award goes to Coach Dan Cazzetto, who blindfolded his offensive linemen to help their pass blocking. The jolliest, Pat Thompson. He's got a face and a demeanor that all mothers would love. And finally, the sneakiest, Taco Tagai, made a daily appearance at the Natural Springs to wreak havoc on his teammates. Well, that's going to do it for my portion of the show up here at Camp Tonazona. But fear not, I'll be joining Tim Healy, Jeff Van Rapphorst, and Gil Tyree on the ASU broadcast. My job to find all that weird, wild, and wacky stuff on all the players involved. Don't go away, though. When we come back, Gil Tyree will introduce you to the unofficial barber of this football team. We'll take care of that business right after this.
Now save up to $13.57 on Dodge Caravans, including air conditioning at no extra charge. So cut yourself in for great savings at the 93 model clearance now at your nearest Dodge dealer. This Dodge Spirit, America's lowest priced 6-passenger car, even comes with air at no extra charge because the lid's coming off great deals during the Dodge 93 model clearance.
See your Arizona Dodge dealer.
Lunch is always a thrill.
Leftovers.
Something to look forward to.
Ooh, tuna. Nummy.
A chance to be creative.
Bread and cottage cheese.
That's why there's a whole new kind of Lunchables. Thin sliced meats, creamy spreadable cheese with a touch of herbs and crisp crackers. A great new taste made just for you.
Now I'm liking this lunch thing.
4 new Lunchables from Oscar Mayer. Lunch will never be the same.
It's a 30-year tradition. Firebird Baseball, come along.
Pick up your 1993 Firebirds baseball card team sets, free to the first 2,500 fans. They feature your favorite 1993 Firebird stars. Tomorrow night, come early for the Matt Williams Collector Pin, courtesy of Intergroup. Game time, 6 p.m.
Introducing a daring innovation in Japanese cuisine. Tender, marinated teriyaki chicken breast. Fresh carrots and broccoli, steamed to perfection. And rice. All in a bowl. The new teriyaki bowls from Jack in the Box.
Is this a great job or what?
It's more than just football players here at Camp Tonazona. A very large support staff is also on hand to make sure things run smoothly. From managers to trainers, conditioning and weight training staff, to the video crew that tapes every practice, about 40 behind-the-scenes people spend each day taking care of things for the ASU football program. Welcome back to Camp Tonazona 93. I'm Gil Tyree. The way people wear their hair has become a fashion statement in the 1990s. This season, the ASU defensive backs have decided to make a statement by going with the bald look. And believe it or not, it's catching on.
The day before we went to camp, I cut about 11 people's hair at my house. And so it was a tough chore. I was cutting hair basically all day.
We trust him. I got too many dents in my head to go bald.
I don't think my mother would recognize me with a bald head. George Montgomery, he was kind of iffy about if he wanted to get the bald cut before camp. So he sat down, and I just...
At first I was, but then after all the comments and everything I got out here, I think, you know, it adds an extra little attention to myself. I'm going to have to go for it.
That's not for me. I go for a little prettier look, so that's not part of my plan.
Because they won't come over for a cut because they know how Gene cuts.
Hey, on the real, I didn't do that on purpose at all.
Well, I like my hair. They have to get me while I'm sleeping, and they better use duct tape.
Not surprisingly, Gene gives all those haircuts for free. Gene, I say to you, no thank you. I'd like my fade look. ASU goes into the season without a punter or a kicker. In fact, the 4 players vying for the positions have never played a down at ASU. That puts head coach Bruce Snyder and his staff in a very precarious situation. But the guys vying for those positions do not feel the pressure one bit. John Baker, Lance Anderson, and Noel Prefontaine and Marcus Williams are all vying for 2 starting jobs. And regardless of the outcome, the foursome say they'll remain close friends and support the coach's decision.
You know, you don't want to give anybody a leg up, but the more you get into it, pretty much all you want is for the team to win. And whoever's kicking the best at the time, you got to help them.
John Baker is the front-runner to earn the starting job as the place kicker, but has received a challenge from true freshman Marcus Williams, who played at McClintock High in Tempe.
When they give me my scholarship, they told me, you know, everything's wide open, and we'll see in Tonazona who the man is. And right now, everything's still open. You know, everything's just wide open for every position.
The punting job has boiled down to a battle between Noel Prefontaine, a transfer from Cal State Fullerton, and redshirt freshman Lance Anderson. Both have had trouble with their consistency.
There's one set, rhythm that you're accustomed to, and there's so many different steps, and if you deviate at all from one of those, then the whole kick's, altered, and you have to adjust to that.
To me, it's like inner battle, I'm battling with myself out there, I'm going to do the best I can, and, the same with Lance and the other kickers, they're going to do the best they can. I'm not battling Lance, I'm battling myself.
It'll be interesting to see how these guys handle the pressure. After all, the kicking game could decide several games this season. That'll wrap up my portion of the show. I'll be roaming the sidelines this fall on TV3's coverage of ASU football. But stick around, folks, because Coach Snyder and Tim will be right back with more thoughts about the upcoming season, and you'll hear from more players, including All-American defensive end Shante Carver. Stay right there.
Camp Tonazona 93 is brought to you by Jack in the Box Restaurants. There's always something new. And by Bank One, whatever it takes.
Until recently, people were quite content buying the same car year after year, because in their price range, that's all they thought was out there. But now, people have an opportunity to break that mold, because now they can choose Nissan Altima or Nissan Maxima. Cars comparable to luxury sedans costing twice as much. So imagine how they compare to Camry and Accord. Nissan, the choice is yours.
On Southwest Airlines, friends fly free for business, too. For example, if Dunn buys a ticket, Bradstreet flies free. Buy one round-trip ticket at Southwest Airlines' regular low, unrestricted fare, and your friend flies with you, free. So if Bausch buys a ticket, Lom flies free. Or if Ben buys a ticket, Jerry flies free. Friends fly free for business. On Southwest Airlines. Just plain smart.
You're supposed to be in bed.
But I'm not tired.
With more branches and more ATM locations,
Yes, sweetheart.
Bank One is doing whatever it takes to help you spend less time banking and more time on the things that really matter.
When my dad died, it was a shock going through all this stuff. I mean, I'm sure he knew where everything was, but to me, it was complete chaos. At least for all our insurance, he dealt with one agent who took care of everything.
Country companies. It's nice to know when it matters most. The country's behind you.
I guess we're all gonna die sometime. My dad just didn't think it would be so soon.
No question that Camp Tonazona is one of the most picturesque preseason training facilities in all of college football. The cool weather and beautiful surroundings prove to be a perfect setting to concentrate on one thing and one thing alone, football. Welcome back to Camp Tonazona 93. I'm Tim Healy, joined again by head coach Bruce Snyder. And indeed, Coach, nothing but football for 10 days for the players and for the coaches alike.
Right, and coaches, we kind of grow up with it, or at least in our professional life. But some of the kids really go into kind of a tank, particularly the freshman, sophomore kids. They just don't quite understand that it can be this intense. But the veterans are showing the way, and it's a great place to try to bring the team together, which is the whole purpose.
Now, obviously, when a Pac-10 team has it all together, they end up in Pasadena on New Year's Day. I know that has to be the prime goal you have going into this season. How do you feel realistically about your chances in the
Well, you're right about each year. We're going to start out each season with that as the idea. Might as well shoot for it if there's no use being cautious, in my opinion. In terms of this particular team, we do have to be lucky. We have to have a great camp. I think so much is going to happen in the next days that we're here that will set us on a course whether we're going to win it or at least make a run at it. We have, I think, on one deep, enough talent to be in the top 1, 2, 3 spots in our conference. Below that is the question. I think it's going to be a great year for college football in the Pac-10.
I know that many of the magazines have tabbed you as a team to watch in '93.
Well, I don't wonder what that means. I think we're going to be exciting. You know, I think we're faster at the wideout positions. We have a veteran quarterback, certainly Mario and George. You know, Mario Bates and George Montgomery. We have some real fine defensive players. Shante Carver. I mean, if you love defensive play and like to see a quarterback sacked, you ought to watch number 98. So I think we are a team to watch from that standpoint, certainly.
No question the Sun Devils do have a lot of talent on this football team, talent that Coach Snyder and his staff hopes can take Arizona State to its first bowl game since 1987. Defensive end Shante Carver is on every preseason All-American team in 1993. Carver enters his final season at Arizona State as the school's all-time sack leader. The 6'5" Carver has silenced the critics who once said he was too small to play defensive end.
I guess I'm not the prototype defensive end. I guess that's what they're saying, but you know, the most important thing is if you play football, you play football, and that's all my coaches ask out of me, and that's all I want to do.
Joining Shante on the defensive line this season is senior Larry Boyd, who finally gets his chance to play after beginning his career as a running back. Junior Justin Dragoo returns to anchor the linebacking core in 1993 after suffering a season-ending knee injury last October. Dragoo believes the Devils' defense can return to last season's top 10 form.
This camp, it looks like they're picking it up very well. And so we should be right back to where we were last year as one of the top defenses in the country, is that if everybody gels together like they did last year. We certainly have the athletes to do it.
Sophomore Sam Santana will start at the other linebacker position. Santana was ASU's top freshman player a year ago and is a fearless defender. Senior cornerback Lenny McGill led the Devils in interceptions last season and seems to have improved with each game of his Sun Devil career.
It's just a matter of confidence. A matter of the coaches having, you know, faith in your abilities and just putting you out there and believing that you can do the job. And I think that's happened to me every game. I believe that.
In addition, Rovers Gene Boyd and Mark Brown and gunner Kendall Ryan return to give the Devils plenty of big game experience in the defensive backfield, while junior Eddie Cade, a native of Eloy, Arizona, becomes the starting free safety. The Devils' hopes for success on offense this year depend on the health of running backs Mario Bates and George Montgomery. Both missed most of last season with knee injuries. Bates could become one of the top running backs in the nation if last season's 3-game performance was any indication of his talents.
Everyone needs to put a big part in the whole offense. It's just not me and George. It's the offensive line, the quarterbacks, all the way to the wide receivers, and also to the coaches.
George Montgomery hopes his senior season with the Devils makes up for 3 injury-riddled campaigns he's had to endure at ASU.
Is this finally going to be the year for George Montgomery?
I think it is. In fact, I know it is. I mean, we've got 12 games this season, which I'm going to make, and I'm going to lead this team.
Grady Benton returns as the starting quarterback in 1993, coming off a freshman season in which he set the NCAA record for passing accuracy by a freshman quarterback.
I always knew coming in high school that I could play. It was just the chance I needed. I finally got the chance and then blew it, and then finally I got the chance again. I just had to take advantage of it.
Benton will have plenty of targets to choose from. Junior wideout Clyde McCoy returns, while Carlos Artis and former quarterback turned slot back Troy Rower will also see plenty of action. Sophomore Steve Bush will start at tight end in place of the injured Brian Ryder. Senior Toby Mills anchors a veteran offensive line. Mills has been a starter since midway through his true freshman season and is rated as the 4th best center in the nation.
The most satisfying thing would be the, a good bowl game, a really high-ranking national championship. That stuff right there would be more satisfying than the individual stuff.
Juniors Jeff Kaiser and DeMario Vaughn give the Sun Devils a pair of mammoth tackles, while Taco Tagai, Chuck Underwood, and redshirt freshman Pat Thompson compete for the 2 starting guard positions. The Sun Devils haven't had this much experience on the offensive line since perhaps the Rose Bowl year of 1986.
The experience we've got is just incredible, and the offense is it's not real basic, but it's easy to understand, and we're a little bit more crisp this year, and things are getting off to a really good start on the offensive line.
Now, as for the Sun Devils schedule, the season opener September 4th against the University of Utah. On paper, Bruce, the first 6 games are games that your team can win, but your schedule sets up difficult in the last 5. You got some of the big powers in the league, Stanford, Arizona, and Washington.
Well, I like our schedule. I think it's going to be challenging. Utah was in a bowl game last year and very easily could have beaten Washington State, and a very good Washington State team in the Copper Bowl. So that's going to be, I think, a real fun game for people to watch. They're a wide-open offense, Louisville. But you're right, I think it's the November games, the late October, November games. And as the old saying, you know, it's what you do in November, it's what they remember. I think it's important that we finish strong. Hopefully by then, some of the JC players will have really solidified positions, and their talents will be coming really out at that point. So it's going to be a challenge all the way through. I think we've got a chance to have a real good season, but we need to be lucky.
How do you see the rest of the Pac-10 teams to watch this year?
I believe this is one of the more difficult years to handicap Pac-10 because of the parity, if you will. From Washington, or Arizona, those are the two teams that are right now being picked as number one. But the difference between those two clubs and the 5th, 6th, 7th team being picked, I don't see a great deal of difference. The scheduling will be important when your bye weeks fall in, who's injured at what time. I think we're going to see some upsets. We'll see some last-minute heroics. We're going to see some great college football in the Pac-10. And I don't think we'll know who the winner will be of the conference until middle of November.
Perhaps November 26th, ASU, U of A, Sun Devil Stadium, be there. It should be a great season of Devil football, and it all begins on Saturday, September 4th, when the Sun Devils play the University of Utah at Sun Devil Stadium. Join us throughout the season on the Bruce Snyder Show here on TV3, and for most of the ASU game telecasts as well. Till next time, for Coach Snyder, for Mike Chamberlain, and for Gil Tyree, I'm Tim Healy. Thanks for watching, and so long for now, everyone.
Can cheddar stop the panic on Elm Street?
What's for dinner?
Leftover chicken. Cheddar. Tasty.
You did, Tim. We are a much better football team at the conclusion of this game than we were a week ago. So we've made great progress as a team. There's a lot of things to clean up, and we know that, and we recognize that. But from a team standpoint, building a team, particularly one that has to go into league play now this coming week, we made a great deal of progress.
What were the big things that did please you about your team? The intangibles mostly?
Oh, I think so, because, well, the defense, again, obviously played, I think, like it normally does. The shutout in the fourth quarter was a terrific thing. Larry Boyd made a great play for a two-point safety. But the thing about our offense that I was really pleased about, getting George Montgomery back into flow a little bit. Johnny Thomas got some playing time, touchdown reception. There was a chemistry on the sideline that we did not have in Louisville. We had it tonight. And if you don't have that, you don't have a chance to win in this league, and we had it tonight.
Now, you said that you wanted to establish the running game against Oklahoma State, and you got 170 yards. Not a lot of long yards, but lots of 4- or 5-yard pickups. Were you happy with the way the running game was established?
I obviously wish we would have, seen them break through, and make a long run here and there and be more consistent with it. But from where we were as a team a week ago, this is great improvement. And that was a good defense. Oklahoma State has a good defense. And they've shown it the weeks prior to this, and they certainly showed it against us.
I think the Cowboys are going to surprise some people in the Big 8 conference this year. Let's check out the highlights of last night's game here at Sun Devil Stadium. An announced crowd of just over 46,000 viewing the game. We pick it up in the second quarter on ASU's first possession of the period as the Sun Devils will punt the ball away to Oklahoma State, but Delvin Miles of the Cowboys will cough it up here, and the Devils recover at the Cowboy 32. That's what you want to see, get that ball back.
We need turnovers, and our whole system is based on getting the ball away from the opponent.
Next play off the play-action fake, Grady Benton goes deep. His pass to Clyde McCoy, though, broken up by Cleavon Williams in the end zone.
That was a terrific play by that defensive back, I think. Now, Clyde told me he felt like the guy pulled on his shoulder, had just enough to pull his left hand away, but we need to start hitting that big play.
I believe our replay showed he did get there just a tad premature, but nonetheless, no flags, and then John Baker unable to connect on a 45-yard field goal attempt. And so at this point in the early part of the second quarter, we're still scoreless. Now, Oklahoma State with the ball, and Sam Santana, he and Jason Kyle have really come on the last.
They really have, and I think we're going to find, after really studying the tape, that Sam Santana probably had a great football game. He was every place tonight.
Of course, Jason Kyle had the big game last week at Louisville and played well last night, but Santana indeed may have had his best game as a Sun Devil against the Cowboys. ASU on third down, Grady Benton goes to Carlos Artis, and this is a first down at the ASU 25-yard line.
You know, our passing attack wasn't real consistent tonight, and that's a concern for all of us. We're not going to score a lot of points without it, but it will come.
This was a big play. 4th and inches in your own territory. You decide to go for it. A gutsy call, and it pays off because it keeps the drive alive, and now we see George Montgomery into the game, and good to have him back.
Oh, is that terrific. You know, first of all, he's a great Sun Devil. He loves Arizona State, and when he gets into the huddle or on that practice or wherever he is, he has a lot of energy, and he shares it with everybody.
Buoyed by that 4th down conversion, the drive stays alive here. This may have been Mario's best run of the night, 14 yards down to the Oklahoma State 34.
At this point, I really felt like we were gaining some momentum with our offense. It's nice to see him run because the holes have not been all that much, and I mean, it's been inconsistent. This is a great play. You know, Johnny Thomas, a fellow that we've all waited a while to see, can really run and catch, and Grady put the ball right on the money.
It was a terrific pass. He was not poorly covered at all by Delvin Miles, as you'll see in the replay. But JT, 5 catches, 60 yards, 1 touchdown. You've been very high on him since day one, and we saw flashes of his ability last night.
You know, it's been on the practice field that we've watched everything, but certainly in this game, he didn't disappoint us at all.
But the Cowboys, to their credit, come right back as Tony Jones, a true freshman inserted at quarterback, hits Shannon Culver 63 yards down to the ASU 6. Actually, Eddie Cade does a good job of flagging him down from behind.
Well, it gave us a chance at least to line up again and play some defense. I really kind of thought we were going to get them stopped here and force a field goal, but they ran an option opposite of their unbalanced line, and it was a good call by them.
Tony Jones, the true freshman, goes in. Their other quarterback, Gary Porter, is more of a thrower. Jones gives him that option threat, and that touchdown made it 7-7 at the half. We pick it up in the second half. Jones here to Raphael Denson, a big gainer down to the Sun Devil 25-yard line.
You know, their team had really good team speed. I was really impressed. You cannot always tell on tape how fast the team is, but that was a fast team we played.
Denson, a converted tailback, now at wide receiver. His reception set up Lawson Vaughn's 36-yard field goal that gave Oklahoma State a 10-7 lead. But again, the Sun Devils respond. Mario Bates with 13 of his 94 yards on the night. He had to work for him, 30 carries.
It was like pulling teeth, I felt. I mean, they're a good defensive team. They knew that we were going to be fairly stubborn with the run, and so they were playing it. Really a physical football game.
Costly penalty here. The Oklahoma State stops you on 3rd down, but this kid, Javon Longwood, comes up with the personal foul penalty, and that perpetuated the drive that resulted in the field goal by John Baker, a 49-yarder that tied the game at 10. I think you do have a keeper as a place kicker.
Oh, I do too. John's got a great leg, and there's a great example of, and I think we've lived through it some, what penalties can do to you.
Oklahoma State shot itself in the foot last night. You saw the great play by Jason Kyle, a nice open field tackle by his inside linebacking mate Sam Santana there as he tackles quarterback Tony Jones. And then the play of the game without question, early 4th quarter, Larry Boyd wraps up the quarterback, Tony Jones, in the end zone for a safety. Not only is a safety always an exciting and big play, this was the game-winning play. It was 10-10 at this point. The Sun Devils, as a result of Larry's big play, get the lead.
You know, Larry is, I think Larry's first game as a defensive lineman was against Oklahoma State a couple years ago. Great play, big play, made the difference.
And here the Devils stop David Thompson, one of the freshman running backs for OSU, on a 3rd down play. And then late in the game, you're deep in your own territory, nursing that 2-point lead, desperately need a 1st down. I think this is a 3rd down play, but great extra effort by George Montgomery, who had 54 yards rushing in 17 carries last night. But I thought he looked good, Coach.
I do too. That's the first time he's touched the ball in a game. in about a year. So I really admire both he and Mario as to what they've done in terms of coming back.
Shades of Cal Stanford 1982, that last play for North, and the game ends with Arizona State winning a tough one by the count of 12-10. Do you think you settled on a punter last night? You started Noel Prefontaine, but towards the end of the game, in crunch time, you were using Lance Anderson, and he got some good hang time.
We have been back and forth with the two. They both got very strong legs. We felt like the first half, Noel was not quite as consistent as we needed, so we took another look at Lance. And Lance did a very nice job. In fact, he set up Larry's play because we got the ball down inside the 5, which gave us a chance for the safety. Big, big play.
Indeed it was. And afterward, we got these reactions from the Sun Devil players on last night's win over Oklahoma State.
Well, every point, counts. And, we're fortunate enough to get those 2 points. And, it proved to be the 2 points we needed to win. And we got it. And I'm happy fellow right now.
I think we just went in spurts tonight. And we made some mistakes in crucial times. But our offense has got to be more consistent. I mean, we're not as consistent as we want to be right now, and that's the thing we need to start working on.
As a team, we won. It doesn't matter how you get the points up there, as long as you get them up there. We done it as a team.
Indeed, it may not have been pretty, but it was a W for the Devils as they finished non-conference play 2-1. Don't go away. Still more to come on this Sunday edition of the Bruce Snyder Show. When we return, Larry Boyd will join us, and we will take a look at the play of the game from last night. 3 guesses what that one was, and the first 2 don't count. We'll be right back.
The Bruce Snyder Show is brought to you by Jack in the Box restaurants. There's always something new. By Southwest Airlines, offering frequent flights and low everyday fares, which is why flying Southwest Airlines is just plain smart. And by your Arizona Dodge dealers. The new Dodge. We're changing everything.
Trade in your old carpet today at Baker Brothers.
Say your family walks on your carpet 20 times a day. After a while, it's like a marching band went through your living room. Fortunately, there's new DuPont Master Life. Its 33% bigger fibers hold up better to heavy traffic. Oh, and did we mention the advanced stain protection?
You can trade in that old carpet for $3 a square yard on new Master Life from Horizon. For carpet, vinyl, area rugs, and interiors, it's Baker Brothers.
Introducing a daring innovation in Japanese cuisine. Tender, marinated teriyaki chicken breast. Fresh carrots and broccoli, steamed to perfection. And rice. All in a bowl. The new teriyaki bowls from Jack in the Box.
Is this a great job or what?
On Southwest Airlines, friends fly free for business, too. For example, if Dunn buys a ticket, Bradstreet flies free. Buy 1 round-trip ticket at Southwest Airlines' regular low, unrestricted fare, and your friend flies with you, free. So if Bausch buys a ticket, Lom flies free. Or if Ben buys a ticket, Jerry flies free. Friends fly free for business. On Southwest Airlines. Just plain smart.
There are certain chores you would only ask a diesel to handle. That's about to change. Drivers of full-size pickups pretty much know what they're in for. That's about to change.
Welcome back to Sun Devil Stadium, where last night the ASU Sun Devils got back on the winning track, defeating Oklahoma State by the score of 12-10. This is the Bruce Snyder Show, and I'm Tim Healy. Glad you could join us on this Sunday afternoon. Time now to look back at one of the game's outstanding plays from last night, voted on by our panel of judges. What panel of judges? Our producer/dictator, Patrick Sturgeon, picks the play of the game, and here it is. What else could it be? Game tied at 10, early 4th quarter. Oklahoma State pinned deep in its own territory, and senior defensive tackle Larry Boyd bursts through and wraps up freshman quarterback Tony Jones for the safety that proved to be the margin of victory. The victory dance wasn't too shabby either. 12-10 was the final. A safety, as we said, always an exciting play. Very seldom, however, will you see a safety be the actual margin of victory. Pat Jones' Cowboys fought hard last night, but because of that play and some costly penalties, they lose to ASU 12-10. So joining us on the show, who else but senior defensive tackle Larry Boyd out of Gilmer, Texas, one-time running back, came to ASU as a running back, converted to defensive tackle. In fact, Larry, we were talking a while ago, your very first game as a defensive player was in Stillwater, Oklahoma, 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Your memories of that and your thoughts on the position switch. It's one of the most unusual you'll ever see in college football.
You're right. I don't think there's many other players that have switched as many times as I have in football and everything. You know, I just look at the position changes as, you know, a way to help my team. And as you can see, as a cause of that, I helped my team win tonight.
Talk, if you will, about the play, the safety, and the defensive effort in general of the Sun Devils last night.
Well, from the punting of Lance, we had him down, and Shante, you know, he's basically one of the leaders on our defensive squad. He said, you know, hey, they don't score, they don't move out of this position. We've had them here before, they've got out. Let's do not let them out. You know, and we had a rip call on, and I was lined up in a 2-eye, and the whole night I had been playing the quarterback. I'd reach out and try to grab him, and all of a sudden, you know, instead of him, you know, going off to the left, he kind of like veered off to the right, and I said, wait a minute. You know, I bit down on the center, you know, because I was doing it the whole game, and I saw him when he pulled up with the ball. I just, you know, turned the speed on and, you know, went, and I barely got it by the shoulder pads, and, you know, from then on, I just drug him down.
Biggest play, no doubt, of your career here at Arizona State. Amplify, if you will, on Coach Snyder's comments. I do think a lot of fans who may have watched the game or been to the game last night might have thought, you know, the phrase winning ugly might apply, and yet Coach Snyder said it was a great game from a team intangible perspective.
Yes, you know, having fans are, you know, they're real great. You know, without fans, sometimes, you know, teams can't win. You know, they look at fans as a way of giving them some type of energy. But, hey, it's really hard to win a game in a Division I football. You know, Oklahoma State, they came in there, they were, you know, a real tough team. You know, you look in newspapers, they had us 13.5 points, you know, over them. And, you know, that really doesn't mean anything. As you can see tonight, Oklahoma State, you know, they came to play.
One difference, you guys kept your composure. They lost theirs in 3 key instances, personal foul penalties that kept ASU drives alive.
Yes, I give that to coaching. You know, Coach told us always keep it cool because, you know, as you can see tonight, you never know from the time when the player made that decision to act up or whatever. That could have been something that could have kept him into the game, but it's something that happened, and you know, it's over.
Well, congratulations on your game-winning play last night, Larry, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Larry Boyd, senior tackle out of Gilmer, Texas, one of the stars of last night's ASU victory. Still more to come on this edition of the Bruce Snyder Show. When the coach and I return, we will join some ASU offensive linemen in the pool hall. Find out who's the king of the table when we return.
I would like to thank the following for sponsoring Sun Devil football. Another Point in Time at the Hilton, South Mountain Point, Antigua Sportswear, Budget Rent-A-Car of Arizona, featuring GM products and other fine cars, Copper State Bolt and Nut, Robert Christ and Company, America's #1 RV dealer, Don and Charlie's, an American rib and chop house, Drug Emporium, Arizona's own drugstore, The Gentry, fine men's clothing, Grace Inn at Awatuki, Hawaiian Pools, Insurers Administrative Corporation, Macayo's Depot Cantina, the Orthopedic Clinic, Rustler's Roost at the Hilton South Mountain Point, Schaefer Smith Ankeny Insurance, the Stockyards, an Arizona landmark serving the finest beef, Sun Angel Foundation supporting Arizona State University's commitment to excellence, Tempe Paint and Decorator Center featuring DuPont Stainmaster Carpet, Unicopy, the only choice for copiers and facsimiles, USA HealthNet Incorporated, Western Loan Marketing Association.
Introducing a daring innovation in Japanese cuisine. Tender, marinated teriyaki chicken breast. Fresh carrots and broccoli, steamed to perfection. And rice. All in a bowl. The new teriyaki bowls. from Jack in the Box.
They better make me manager for this.
Who makes leather so much better? Who's always bright and sunny and kind of funny? Who knows what kind of day tomorrow's gonna be? Okay, should I wear the long sleeves or short sleeves? Is it gonna rain? Watch Jim and see. Jim Howe is really bad. Ooh, he is positively rad. Jim Howe, News Channel 3. Jim Howe, News Channel 3.
Come on, everybody, get up on your feet. Come join the celebration. We'll be dancing in the street. The fans are going crazy. Our team is ready to fight. And TV3 will bring it home tonight. Team up with the Cardinals. Team up with the Suns. Team up with ASU. Team up for the fun. And when you want the best, there's just one place to be. Team up with News Channel 3. Team up with the Cardinals. Team up with the Suns. Team up with ASU. Team up for the fun. Mike, Tim, and Gil have all the sports you want to see. So team up with News Channel 3. Team up with News Channel 3.
We welcome you back to Sun Devil Stadium, home of the Arizona State football team since 1958. That's right, ASU has been playing in this ball yard for some 35 years. This is the Bruce Snyder Show. We're pre-taping Saturday night for your Sunday afternoon viewing pleasure, and we're glad you joined us today. As you can imagine, the life of your typical college football player is a rather hectic one, with classes, practices, meetings, study halls that take up most of your day. So as you can expect, when players and coaches get an opportunity for some free time, they like to cash in on it big time. I think you'll understand after watching this piece, which is the subject this afternoon of our Sun Devils Sideline feature. Each Thursday night, assistant coach Dan Cozzetto and his offensive linemen head to Colby's Corner Pocket Billiards in Tempe for a little fun and some stiff competition.
They try to whip up on me. They say, oh, you own a pool table, so you should be pretty good. Well, we'll see.
We like having them out here. There's a lot of ASU students out here, and it's good to have them out here playing.
While everyone claims to be the best player,
I don't think there's anyone in this room that could beat me, basically. I'm still the best player, you know. We win some, we lose some. Kind of like baseball, nobody really goes undefeated.
It's all fluke. That means lucky.
this past Thursday, several stood out. Early on, guard Chuck Underwood got past true freshman Kyle Murphy, whose uncle just happens to own the place. Nice shot, Chuck. But Murph got back into the winner's circle by beating fellow freshman Anthony Jones in a little papa shot.
I got pretty lucky, not too bad. I'll just throw him up there, see what happens.
Just not my night. I didn't come to play. Came to play pool tonight.
Gotta give him a chance, the old man a chance.
The upset of the night occurred when Taco Tagai beat Coach Cozzetto, who's an avid billiards player.
Now we're equal here.
Next game, Taco. You know, that's real true. Real true.
But the star of this evening was big tackle Eric Harvey. First, Eric took out Chad Ackerley in a hotly contested duel.
I'm sorry what I said. That's a good game, man. He's a good player, you know, but you know what? I was right cold off the street, too, so watch this game. It's going to warm up, I guarantee it.
We still got 10 more Thursday nights, and I'll get him 10 out of 10 times, so I'm not worried about it.
Up next for Harvey, Coach Cozzetto, who plays just as intensely as he coaches. Harvey came back for the win.
That's a good sign, though. They're wired in, ready to go. Redemption. I told you, it was in the books. It was in the books before the game even started.
They going to get you down there some Thursday night or what?
I think they're afraid to invite me.
Yeah, you can't beat the head coach, right?
Well, they could, I think.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of fun.
And you need to unwind somehow in this hectic world of college football. Still more to come on the Bruce Snyder Show. When we come back, a look at next week's opponent, Oregon State, as Pac-10 play begins. But straight ahead, senior center Toby Mills gives us a tour of the ASU weight room. You won't want to miss this.
The Bruce Snyder Show is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, offering frequent flights and low everyday fares, which is why flying Southwest Airlines is just plain smart. And by Bank One, whatever it takes.
Read this and believe it.
This week only at Sun Valley Waterbeds, the better deal is complete bedroom. Like this bedroom, including bed, mattress, frame, dresser, mirror, and nightstand. Everything only $8.99 or $30 a month. Or this oak bedroom with all the same stuff, only $9.99 or $30 per month. Choose from 30 complete bedroom styles. Everything included for $30 or less per month. It's the better deal this week only at Sun Valley Waterbeds.
Waterbeds are better.
On Southwest Airlines, friends fly free for business, too. For example, if Dunn buys a ticket, Bradstreet flies free. Buy one round-trip ticket at Southwest Airlines' regular low unrestricted fare, and your friend flies with you, free. So if Bausch buys a ticket, Lom flies free. Or if Ben buys a ticket, Jerry flies free. Friends fly free for business. On Southwest Airlines. Just plain smart.
Before you take another full-size pickup out for a spin, remember, not one of them offers four-wheel anti-lock brakes. That's about to change. It would appear truck designers have never enjoyed spending much time on the seats. And it seems neither have truck owners. That's about to change.
Bank One's new personalized credit and checking cards have your face and signature right up front. They're head and shoulders above the rest.
Imagine having a sick child and not being able to afford a doctor, or facing your golden years without medical or dental insurance. Fortunately, for those who need aid, St. Joseph's Mercy Care Center is there. But they can't do it alone.
You can help by pledging 25 cents or more for each sack made by the Phoenix Cardinal defense.
Your individual or corporate donations can help keep Arizona's family healthier. So pick up your pledge forms at any Safeway or call SACM today.
1, 2, 3, go!
Hi, I'm Senior Toby Mills, and we're going to take a tour of the weight room today. Chuck Underwood over here, he's training to get those reps and everything. Harvey, let's hear some noise, see what you make. Are you making a fashion statement with that shirt on, by the way, by any chance?
Of course, it's just my my deal right here, the Air Hardy shirt.
This is where all the free dumbbells are, and they call them free because they're not attached to anything, and they don't cost us anything. That's the purpose of stretching out.
To be flexible. Just to be flexible, I guess.
Be flexible, yeah. Why did you grow the goatee?
Oh, I'm trying to impress you, Toby, you know that. Trying to get some of that hair off your chest.
Okay, all right. It is a known fact that Mr. Universe contest is in October, I believe. Is that right? Any plans?
No plans at this moment right now. So.
Okay, all right.
What about yourself? Because you several of the records. Are you considering it? Arms and the chest on your
Hey, it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot. It's getting hot in here. What is the noise that you make when you lift?
I always go like on the eighth one.
That's it from the weight room. Now back to Tim and Coach Snyder.
Okay, correspondent Toby, thank you. The Devils pumping up for the start of Pac-10 play next week at Oregon State.
Oregon State, they're an option football team, and we play them up there on AstroTurf. I think we're all excited about just getting started into the league and getting rid of these non-conference games.
Well, congratulations on the win last night, and good luck next week. That's it for this edition of the Coaches Show. For Bruce Snyder, I'm Tim Healy saying so long for now.